U nastavku vam predstavljam sljedećeg gosta predavača u okviru tečaja Živjeti svoj dizajn i 10. bonus predavanja. To je jedan divan projektor, Jaska, profil 2.5 iz Belgije. Eto, poslušajte njegov proces buđenja, njegove korake na putu življenja svoje istinske prirode i uživajte.
Hi Jaska, it's so nice to have you here, and I'm so appreciate and I'm so thankful that you gave me your energy, your time, and your knowledge, and to be a part of my human design community in a way that I'm preparing for all my future students from these parts of Europe to introduce human design in some kind of different way. So it is very important for me to have one kind of such projector as you are, and to introduce yourself to all of my students. So I will have some kind of short and brief questions, so feel free to answer and let your spirit guide you. First of all, I would like to ask you, just as I ask Michaela and Lisa, just to introduce yourself. Tell me, how long have you been in human design and practicing it, and what human design brings in your life?
Mm-hmm. First of all, it's a real pleasure to be here with you, Jelena. I've really enjoyed getting to know you and meeting you, and your really wonderful energy. So yeah, it's a joy to be here. Let's say human design has been part of my life now for 3 years, a little bit over 3 years maybe, since I started at least following my strategy and gradually discovering what my authority was or is. Maybe a bit more background. I'm 26 years old. I'm originally from Belgium. I've lived in quite a number of places in the world. I've had an interesting life when it comes to traveling and yeah, living internationally. And human design found me when I was leaving university, basically. And yeah, when I was in a bit of an identity crisis with myself. If you know my chart, then you'll probably you'll see that identity crises are quite predictable for my design.
And for myself also.
There we go. Yeah, at that time I was feeling very, very disoriented. I had questioned life very deeply. I had questioned society very deeply. I'd studied economics, regenerative economics. And yeah, I was feeling a bit out of place. Everything that had come before, suddenly I was seeing in a totally new perspective. Many relationships and my way of entering into relationships I was seeing in a very different way. And on top of that, I was becoming more and more and more sensitive in ways that I didn't understand. And that had gradually started to happen when I began to explore spirituality of different kinds, so meditation, etc., ways of looking inside and questioning, okay, who am I, and all of those things. And as I started to go into that, I became so sensitive to the world around me in ways that I couldn't really explain very well, in ways that I couldn't understand very well. And human design basically put everything into a perspective that allowed me to stabilize in that, and that allowed me to recognize what was going on and see, oh, whoa, I'm seeing all of these subtle dynamics that human design explains. I've been sensitive to this stuff my whole life, only now I'm no longer trying to suppress it or trying to numb myself to that. And then a whole world yeah, began to open up, as I'm sure you know.
Wow.
So that's a bit of the beginning.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so interesting that those starting points in our life before human design, it's somehow, well, I don't know, 180% on the other side when we reveal all of those beautiful talents and skills inside of us, and it goes step by step. Normally, it doesn't go over one night, but it's really challenging and beautiful, beautiful. And you know what? Most of my clients are really having issues with those strategies of projectors. And most of them are asking me after our consultations, they are calling me and asking me, could you please once more explain me, what does it mean to be recognized and wait for the invitation? What does it mean through your learning and process of becoming yourself?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, in my process, well, recognition was a word that struck home straight away. It's something that I understood immediately. I'm a splenic projector, so sometimes things just catch and I recognize instantly what it's about. With recognition, it was so clear that for most of my life, I had spent trying to be recognized, trying to get somebody else to see something in me or to see value in me in different ways. And yeah, kind of engineering my whole social world around that. And it's a really crucial word, recognition, because when you're a projector, what that means is that the gifts that you carry, the strengths that you have, you, generally speaking, don't really have a clear sense of what those really are for yourself. The information is being broadcast outward. It's being sent out into the world, attracting attention, but you don't really have a clear sense of how that shows up to somebody else. In my case, I'm a 2/5. So I deal with a lot of projection anyway. That can make things a bit more confusing because you never know if it's really there or not. And I have a fully open G center. So in my case also, I have no sense of what my identity or direction actually is at any given point, really. I mean, I have a sense in terms of how my environment is informing me, but it's never fixed. It always changes. So for me, as I initially was always trying to be recognized for something that I thought somebody would value, chasing things, I don't know, whether it's in terms of looks or whether it's in terms of some kind of skill or whether it's in terms of anything. It's like looking for something to be valued for. And it was it was a bit of a shock initially when I had my first reading and someone told me, okay, these are the things that are actually consistent in you. You have a brilliant mind, you have a profound instinct and all that stuff. And those were things that, yeah, I didn't really value in myself very much. I didn't understand them very well. And it was the first time that I could orient myself to these things and start to see how those things play out in interaction with my environment. And as I started to watch for that, I could see people who were affirming that, people who were approaching me for those things, and then people who were approaching me for all sorts of other things, usually with a whole list of expectations that had nothing to do with me. And this is really crucial when it comes to the invitation, is that as a projector, it's so key that you're invited for the correct things. You're invited for things that really have something to do with you, with your energy. Because if not, you can't really show up. You can't really be who you are. You can't really show the world what you're about. And it's easy to get lost there. It's easy to get lost in the wrong kinds of jobs, in the wrong kinds of relationships. Because the aura reads outwardly, we have a good sense of other people, but not such a good sense of ourselves. When we try to get a sense of ourselves, we're caught up in the wrong kind of information. So I was in a lot of relations, for example, with people who were expecting me to be more like a generator. Because also I was presenting myself like that. I was doing this kind of martial art, I was doing that kind of sport, I was good at this and that. I was at every party. And yeah, people wanted me to go and do this and that. Oh, and you're a young, fit guy, and you can do this and you can do that. And all underneath all of that, I was like, fuck, I'm so tired. And I can't keep this up. And the essential part of that is also how you use your energy. So I was so tired, and I was wasting my energy in so many different things, never really fully resting, and pushing my body beyond its own limits, something that I'm now paying the price for and that I'm kind of recovering from. But it took a crash for me. And I'm happy that's happening now. I'm happy it's not happening 10 years later.
Of course, definitely. Definitely. I mean, you are only 26, come on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're so wise right now about yourself and the others and all of this energy that is circling around you. And you should be so thankful for that, really. It's so precious knowledge.
Yeah, I was really lucky that human design came my way when it did. And I think for people who are new, for projectors who are new, the way you use your energy is very important. Who you use it for, who you use it with, because all of that happens in a flow, an exchange, some kind of reciprocity. And the outcome of that flow for a projector is success. It means that you've grown as a person. It means that you had a positive influence in somebody else's life. You made a difference. And you were able to really express what you have, gifts that you have, something that you love as a projector. And usually that's, well, yeah, that's your type. It's to guide. It's to find some kind of place in relationship to other people that you can guide. And it's their success in relation to themselves that becomes your success.
Beautiful.
And yeah, the more that started to happen in my own life, the clearer I started to become about, oh, okay, this is me. This has always been me. This was me since as far as I can remember. I've always had this kind of thing happen. Only now I can see it, and now I can value it, and now I can cultivate it. Now I can step into the world and say, yeah, this is me, and this is what I'm actually confident about.
Beautiful. Yeah, and it's somehow kind of nurturing yourself and in that way the others also.
Exactly. Very much.
And how do you, Jaska, deal with all of those projections? I mean, you mentioned you are profile 2-5. It's like, oh my God, you are projecting outwards and the others projecting on you. And how do you, I mean, you are 26. And did you become aware of all of those projections that you are putting outside and somehow radiating to others, and also that the others put on you? How do you handle with this?
I'm still learning so much about this. It's one of the major topics of my life, because as a young person and growing up, what you're growing is a sense of self, basically. You're just learning about, okay, what does it mean to be in this body, in this world, as this person? And when you grow up with so much projection flying around all over the place, that can get so distorted in so many different directions. It can, for me, it took me some time to just understand how to interact with people in a way that actually was functional. And for a long time, the first thing I learned was how to play into the projections, first of all. So, make myself safe, make everything safe by just playing into somebody else's projection, because I don't know what's in there. Maybe their projection's true. Okay, yeah, you see this? All right, it sounds positive. I'm ready to identify with that. And yeah, Melanie Halpert, she recently did a very good video on this, going through the projection themes of the fifth line. And one of the things that she said was the projections other people put on you, they can keep you hostage if you continue to identify with them. And that was very much the case for me. Being taken hostage by praise, for example, people showering me with praise and then me going, yeah, nice, give me the compliments. Okay, sure. And that wouldn't always, that would not always be real, even. Another thing that would happen frequently is that people would talk to me and say things like, okay, I see you, I understand you, etc. And as a young person, you look for that still. You look for that in caretakers, you look for that in mentors, you look for that in people that you have some close connection with. You want to be seen. And as a projector, you want to be recognized. You're looking for what that is. And very frequently people would just see themselves in me and project themselves into me and think that they understand me because they're just reflecting their own process. And what had happened was that I was absorbing all of these different people, thinking that that was me, and I had whatever problems they had. And that's not just, that's something you come to learn along the way. Is it's something I'm learning now. That's energetic. You absorb that into your body. That's not just a psychological thing. It's something that your body takes on. And there comes a point where you have to let go. There comes a point where you have to accept, okay, I don't have that accurate read on myself, and that's okay. I'm okay with being nobody, in a sense. And I can work with the projection field. I can see it, I can recognize it for what it is, and I can understand that projections are not random. They are about the person. I can use the projection field to understand somebody else better. And I don't have to, I don't have to identify with all that stuff. And then that whole reality shifts.
Wow.
It changes from being something very confusing and something very painful to something that's quite beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You said so many smart things that I'm pretty sure that I have learned something from you today.
We'll see.
Yes, I did. I will record. I mean, I will repeat this recording, so I will need to write for myself down. So, and I will use it in my classes definitely.
Great.
And Jaska, what does it mean? You mentioned a few times the goal of all projectors and the signature is those success. What does it mean, success, for you?
Mm-hmm.
When you are peaceful, when are you enough nurtured? When are you in harmony with yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's two sides to that coin, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
There's the success for yourself,
okay,
and the success for the other.
Oh.
And they're interconnected.
Okay.
Can't separate them.
I agree.
And there's something that Lavina would often say is that projectors really need to master their human environment first. So make sure you're in the right environment,
Mm-hmm.
in an environment that nurtures you, and in relationships that nurture you.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself out of abusive relationships and get yourself out of toxic relationships and into relationships that, that actually nurture your growth and development and nurture who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That can take some time already, just to learn that. But in the process, as that's happening for me, I'm discovering and I'm learning about the interaction between me as a projector and the other types, and how that works, and how we exist in relationship, how we can, like, for example, what does it mean for a projector and a generator to interact? What does it mean for me to be sensitive to the sacral energy of the world around me? And how does my projector aura work in terms of asking correct questions? Asking the questions that that generator needs in order to come into greater alignment with who they are. That process as such, I need to be invited into that. I need to be recognized for being able to do that. Sometimes the other person doesn't really know that that's what's going on because they're experiencing it for the first time. So, but the body knows.
Definitely.
And there's something there. There's a feeling, and this whole process starts to happen. And each time I surrender to that, it's something that's totally unexpected. It happens in the most magical way. I don't even know why I say what I say sometimes, but it lands and it makes sense. Or it catalyzes some change, something that person needed to hear. Or there's a certain energetic interaction that, causes a shift, creates a change. And creates more life as an outcome. And I think that's where the success is really, really at, is how can you, as a projector, find your system to enliven the world around you. And then that comes back to you, then that nurtures you in return. So maybe I can give an example. Maybe an example that isn't super weird, because I have quite a lot of those. Yeah, for example, relating to someone who has been dealing with a lot of physical issues that they don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And they're struggling with things, they are stuck in some kind of pattern. This pattern's been playing out over and over and over and over. And in the meantime, all they're focusing on is their pain. And not so much those aspects that need to be nurtured in order for that pain to be resolved.
Mm-hmm.
A certain relationship that they're in, that they're not seeing, is not a very healthy relationship. Something they're holding on to, perhaps, or something they're running away from, some kind of truth that they're not willing to face. And in those moments, when they recognize me to interact with them about this specific issue, I can see through that. I can ask questions to feel where they're at in relationship to that. And it can catalyze something. And then they can finally feel, oh, okay, I'm willing to see, I'm willing to go there, I'm willing to face something, or I now understand, or I've been inspired in some way to see things in a new perspective. And whoa, it takes me out of that stuckness with myself, and I can give myself permission to be more fully who I am. And that has happened in so many different ways with so many different people. It's hard to really pick just a specific one.
Beautiful.
But that's kind of the general.
I like so much what you said as an example. Beautiful. As I need to be so gentle with your energy, with your available energy. So I will stop with my questions, because if I overwhelm your sacral center, you will skip my classes. So I will stop at this point and only say thank you for all of these beautiful words and like some kind of poet. And I learned also through all of those experiences through your such a young life. And I'm really appreciate for that, and I'm really thankful for that. So see you soon in my classes, and thank you so much, Jaska.
Very welcome. Thank you.
See you. Bye.
See you.